Ganesh Charian. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Full disclosure, I'm a Mormon. Now, I became a Mormon very early in my life, maybe 5, 6, when my parents converted. And I had a fantastic growing up. Gosh, my life was wonderful, the church was fun, people were good to me. I even, after my parents' divorce, I had support, I had opportunities. I went to church college, which is a church high school in Hamilton. Many of you might know it. And I became head boy, met people from all over New Zealand. A year later, I went on a Mormon mission to Auckland, where I was able to actually meet my wife, who was also on a Mormon mission, but she had come from Seattle. She'd obviously got a better ticket. We proceeded to have lots of kids, and I ticked all of those boxes. I ticked so many boxes that they made me Bishop of Wellington. And I felt very, very good. Hugely privileged. I was having a great time. And then we needed to go to America because my wife's family needed some help. And so I went to live in a little tiny town in Wyoming. But before I tell you that story, I need to tell you 2 things about being a Mormon. One is, Mormons are very certain that they are right. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the only true church on the face of the earth. And because of that, they might feel just a little bit privileged and proud. And the other thing you need to know about Mormons is because of that, they also know that other people might not be so excited about that particular fact. Now we know this for 2 reasons. One is we have the Book of Mormon, which is another scripture, companion to the Bible, and this makes us like super Christian, super Christian. We have the truth. And the other thing that confirms this is that when the church was first organised in 1830, it suffered a lot of persecution. People didn't seem to believe this idea so well. And one of the worst acts of persecution was a massacre at Hans Mill in 1838, where 18 men and boys were slaughtered, basically. And that is a story that we repeat again and again and again and again. So when I moved to America, I was very excited because coming from New Zealand, that was Mecca, and I was going to find this amazing church that did all these incredible things. And I went to this little tiny town in Wyoming called Powell, and I found a curious thing. Mormons weren't very liked. And it was a surprise because I'd always felt really privileged, and here I was in this place where I wasn't, and I had to know why. So I did a little bit of digging, went through the history of the Mountain West, and I found out that Mormons had done some terrible things. They had pretty much caused the genocide of the native people in those areas. They had fought with the US government in some horrible ways. And worst of all, they had massacred a wagon party that had come through southern Utah. Bishops, just like me, had killed men, women, children, and babies in their mother's arms. That was not a story I had been told. And I was devastated. The church that was supposed to be the fountain of all truth had told me half truths. It had lied to me, and my life was built on these things. My community, my culture, my extracurricular activities, everything. And it was devastating. The worst bit was that I was complicit. While I could be forgiven for teaching things that were half truths because I didn't know, I also came to understand that I had participated in a community where I had othered people. I had ousted people who didn't feel as special as me, or didn't fit in very well, or didn't, the church didn't work for them. And so I found myself in this precarious situation where I hadn't pulled any triggers and I hadn't killed anybody, but I certainly had made people feel terrible because they didn't feel as important as me. So now for good stuff. Part of that led to huge changes. A lot of empathy, a lot of understanding, a lot of recognition of marginalised people, and a quest on my own right to try and make things better. So I researched and looked at all of the stories and figured out all of the nuance and tried to understand early 19th century American history so well that I could understand what happened to these people and why these stories were told in such ways. And now I'm using those stories, hopefully, to change perceptions, but also to, as a broader mechanism, to understand why we as humans other people, and why we might come to those terrible places where we do unspeakable things because we think that we're special, because we think that we're right, when actually we're all just muddling through this together. Thank you.